Welcome back to school, everybody.
Season 2, baby.
Woo! Boys! Today's essential questions are there really 104 days of summer vacation? Can you teach an old dog new tricks? And do you really learn something new every day? I'll be your host today. I'm Mr. Walter. And some time ago, I decided to make something with lemons. And I had to juice the lemons. So I was like, okay, I need to go buy a lemon juicer. And I bought a lemon juicer, and on the first lemon, it broke. I was like, great. I'm not going to go buy another lemon juicer.
Oh, the juicer. I thought you said the lemon broke.
No, well, the lemon's supposed to break, Derek.
Yeah.
The lemon juicer broke. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to juice a lemon now? Did you know you can juice lemons with your hands? Because I didn't think about that for a good 20 minutes.
Just like squeeze it really hard, or
Were you just sitting there pondering different
I
contraptions?
was like,
you could
how did people in the Middle Ages juice lemons? They used their hands, everybody. That's how you could juice lemons the old-fashioned way.
I'm Mr. Rappers, and while up in the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, we went
to America.
Yeah, we went to Tequamanon Falls, and they've got this part where you can row a boat from out to kind of an island. The island is surrounded by waterfalls, and the boat landing is like 30 to 40 degrees of really slippery plank wood, and they have a sign that says "very slippery." Did I heed that warning? No. I was so excited. I'm going to get out, pull the boat up, show my family how strong I am. And I just, feet give out right from under me, fall right into the water, and I have to struggle back up. My cell phone gets ruined, and my pride is ruined even worse.
The cell phone is ruined?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I got a new one now. That was like an
Rip in
old,
peace.
this was last year, and it was an iPhone 6S. It lasted me for like 7 or 8 years. So it was on living on borrowed time.
It's great. See, I looked at the outline and I saw your boat-related stupidity, and it reminded me of my boat-related stupidity. My dad, when I was a kid, built a wood strip canoe by hand. It was a beautiful piece of boat, and my friend and I were taking it out with my dad. I think we were fishing or something, and so my friend and I had gotten in the boat, and my dad was waiting to get in. And some random passerby was admiring the canoe. So my dad is standing on the pier talking to this random guy about the canoe, while my friend and I are holding onto the pier, waiting for him to get in. Well, the canoe started to drift away from the pier, and we thought, well, we should probably pull on the pier to keep it close to the pier. We flipped it. So while my dad's standing there talking with some random guy about how amazing his canoe is, we just capsized it. And then, as we were trying to get out of the water, we both slipped on the slippery boat launch and went under again.
And still after all that, we are the smartest guys in the classroom. Welcome back to class, everybody. In today's lesson, we wanted to talk about what we learned over this summer, because you're always learning, right?
You should be.
I hope.
That's the idea.
That's why people are listening to this podcast, maybe. So we wanted to share some of the wonderful, insightful, deep things that we learned over the summer.
That feels like a
None
setup.
of it's deep.
Speak for yourself.
I'm not deep. So we're just going to round robin this and see what we can learn together now to make up for all the things that we didn't learn over the summer.
Yeah, look, I hope to learn something from Derek.
Me too. So, Derek,
Sure.
What's one thing you learned over this summer?
So my first thing I have is thoughts on taking an online master class. I'm about a year into it. I've done a summer semester, 2 regular school semesters, and then a second summer semester. And I figure I'm like 75% done now, which is kind of nice to be past the halfway point. And so it's completely online for a master's in science education. And what I was hoping for was just more learning about science classes or science content. It hasn't really been that. There have been a couple of content-specific classes, but a lot of it is more curriculum or pedagogy classes, and those classes are just a lot of writing and doing, which is probably for the better part, because that's what I should be doing. But I am a little disappointed in that it's not more just like learning of more material as opposed to coming up with doing research and writing different papers. I have learned they're very gracious with the grading, at least at this particular university. Like, I'm not saying I'm a bad writer, but and Mr. Linton can talk about the process of writing good papers and how it takes revision.
Dr. Linton to you.
Yes, Dr. how it takes, it's a process. And for almost all my writing, it was like one shot. And maybe I look through it. At the beginning, I'm like, I'm going to read through it and make sure everything makes sense. But toward like this last summer semester, in between all the other things I was doing, I'm like, I just got to write this and hope for the best. And still like did fairly decent on it. So I don't know if that's because I've gotten so good at writing or if they are that lenient in the grading.
I'm going to say yes. I've taken plenty of online classes, and there are times where I see things that classmates are writing and posting in the forums, and I'm like, how are you in this class? So I think there is some generosity
I've
there.
heard a lot of that from other people, too.
Yeah. But to make you feel better, Mr. Rappers, having done a couple of online degrees, I will say that the biggest thing that I've gained from them is self-efficacy. Realizing I do know what I'm doing, and then being able to do it more confidently, which actually makes you better at it. So, as weird as it is, believing you are good at your job makes you better at your job.
Words to live by, right, Mr. Walter?
I'm trying to imagine a scenario in which someone knows absolutely nothing about their job, but they're just really confident about it.
Okay, maybe I should say teaching. If you believe you're a good teacher, you are a better teacher. It might not be transfer.
That in teaching specifically, and I'm sure there's a couple other industries, maybe leadership roles or something.
Like if you're an electrician,
you don't have the confidence, if you don't have the confidence and the voice behind what you're doing up there in the front, then no one's listening to you.
Yep.
And that makes your job a lot harder. I agree with that. Yes.
Good.
On to, who's next? Doctor?
Dr. Linton, the magnanimous.
Yeah, so that's another season 2 update, I guess. That's official. Also, other major season 2 update. If you're watching this on the YouTube, Mr. Rappers now has a headset. That was.
It's very classy.
It's very.
Please tell
crinkly in my
him.
ears.
Please tell him how fly he looks in the comments.
Yes, if the comments could be nothing but comments.
Wow, he fly.
That would be great.
I'm more concerned about the audio quality, or if we should be making Mr. Walter wear this so that his mouth is always
Don't
a
worry
constant
about
distance from the microphone.
I'm sure it'll be, as the cool kids say, skibbity. Back to Dr. Linton.
Okay, my lesson number 1 for me, and all my lessons were not things that I learned for the first time, but instead are things that I reinforced what I already knew and maybe became more a core belief that I have, if that makes sense.
That's probably most things in life.
Yeah.
You have to learn the same lesson 20 times before it really sticks.
My first lesson is travel more. If you are not somebody who travels, you should be traveling more. I just got back about a week ago from chaperoning a high school trip to Europe, and it was amazing. And I think probably one of my favorite things about the trip, besides seeing all the cool things, was that our tour director was from Cuba, left Cuba like 5 years ago because she married somebody from Germany. So she spoke Spanish, English, French, Italian, and is learning German.
Wow. Is polyglot the right term for that?
I don't know. She was amazing, though. And so, like, listening to her talk about her experiences growing up in Cuba and then the way that she viewed other cultures that she encountered, the differences between German culture and Italian culture. And then our bus driver was from Milan. And so, like, getting to interact with these people from other countries and other experiences really broadened my horizons and maybe reinforced something that I already believe, which is if you are somebody who judges someone based on where they are from or has negative connotations about a place, I think you should have to go spend 2 weeks there, at least, and live with somebody from there, and not suddenly be like, oh wait, all of my assumptions were wrong. And I think about the way we do this in America. People from the Midwest often say super nasty things about people who live on the coasts. And people who live on the coast probably say super nasty things about people who live in the Midwest because they've never experienced each other. I've lived on the West Coast. It's not so bad, folks. I've lived in Illinois, and I'm from Wisconsin. Illinois is not that bad.
I mean,
basically, I'm targeting this lesson specifically at Mr. Walter, who, as far as I know, still hasn't seen a mountain. So
I have not seen a mountain yet. It was on my list to do this summer, and I didn't get over there. It just didn't happen.
You were in South Dakota. How far away from you?
8 hours.
Still 8 hours away.
Still
from
8
the
hours
mountains.
from the Rockies. And then I was in Nashville, which was closer to the Appalachians, but there was a wedding and lots of wedding planning. And I spent probably 3 to 4 hours a day in Nashville traffic. We just never made it to the mountains. So that is still on my list, yeah.
But just again, travel, experience different places, experience different people, and especially if you maybe have negative feelings towards an area, I think you'll find people are the same, and there are good people everywhere, and you just got to get to know them a little bit. So, travel.
That reminds me of something that I heard maybe like 10 years ago. There was a couple articles saying that millennials were traveling more than other generations, or they were using a lot more of their savings to travel more before settling down. And I think it was meant as a criticism, like, hey, millennials, you gotta start contributing to society, settle down, get a job, get married. But there's, like you're saying, there is some wisdom into being able to travel. At what part of your life that happens in, that depends on your own circumstances, but making the time for it within your different seasons of life, I think, is important to prioritize.
I think that's probably a trend, and maybe we need to spend an episode on this. But I think that's a trend that's going to keep happening, especially in Yankee land, because when you are in a generation that realizes they will never be able to afford a house, yeah, you can spend your money on other things. If I will never be able to buy a house, okay, I'll spend that on a plane ticket. I'll go experience something because I won't be able to settle down. I think that's a cultural shift we're going to start seeing if conditions don't change.
More nomadism.
Yes. Hermitism.
Hermitism for you.
Hermitism for me. But to be fair, I haven't seen a mountain from lack of wanting to. And it's not that I haven't traveled from lack of wanting to. So it is in my list of goals for next year or for next summer to leave the country and see mountains. And just try and get all that done now that there's not a wedding holding me up.
Yeah, I'd recommend. Mountains are pretty cool.
Yeah. Speaking of weddings, something I learned, weddings don't have to be perfect. And this is something that I definitely knew, but I just want to reinforce it.
Is this with your
For all
brothers?
the yes. Oh my goodness. the amount of anxiety that people can get from flowers not being correct boggles the mind. And I understand that this is a big event and everything, but something the pastor said, which I think was excellent advice, was that anything that goes wrong at your wedding will just be a story that you eventually laugh about with your family.
It's pretty good hindsight. If it goes
Like he was running late, or his best man was running late or something, and they put a cheesecake up on the dashboard because they were eating in the car, and then a turn happened and the cheesecake went onto their suit coat, so they had a big cheesecake stain for all of the pictures. That's just something that is something going as wrong as it could go without someone objecting in your wedding. and you laugh about it. That's a good story to laugh. There is nothing worth having a panic attack about for a wedding. So just
Do you think that
chill, chill out.
I 100% agree.
And I presume, I haven't tested this yet, but I presume that it applies to other things, not just weddings too. Just things that go wrong, things will go, welcome to Murphy's Law, things will go wrong. Be okay with that. Be okay with plans changing.
Do you think in the wedding circumstance that just is a manifestation of the anxiety about marriage itself? Like, because you can't do anything about that.
I
piece.
don't know, because I'm single. But, like, everyone involved with the wedding was excited. The bride and the groom were excited to be married and excited to be on their way. It was not the marriage itself that was the problem here. It's meeting everyone else's expectations about what that should look like. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
No. A lot of people are watching Say Yes to the Dress.
A lot of people are watching, but nobody is watching.
I don't think he knows what Say Yes to the Dress is.
They're watching that, and they're getting a preconceived notion of that they should have the perfect wedding. And
Yeah. And I think that's an absurdity. That's something I learned
I agree.
for whenever I get married.
sure. I mean, and what's the average cost of the wedding or people spending?
I don't
Is
know.
it five? Is it five figures now? I think it's.
It's got to be.
It's gotta be,
Ludicrous.
yeah.
Does that include the ring?
No.
I think it's just the day.
Ludicrous.
Everything that happens on the day. People are usually spending five figures.
Spend that on your honeymoon.
Some people have spend that to spend on the honeymoon.
Cheap wedding, expensive honeymoon.
As somebody who is married,
Yeah.
you don't remember anything about that day. You don't remember the details about that day.
Yeah. I
None of that
wouldn't be
matters.
Except for some of the stories or the sticking points that just get told
things
and are
that went
made into
wrong.
legend.
I think
Yeah.
I think in our wedding, somebody's name was spelled wrong in the program, or listed parents wrong in the. I don't even remember.
LOL.
They're like people were like afraid to show my wife that, and that because like, oh, what's gonna, and she was fine because it's like it's the day. It's fine.
It's a typo.
Who cares?
Woo.
A lot of this also comes down to a person's personality and how well they can deal with stress. If they've never
That is true.
If they've never dealt with stress before, this is something that is
Different people have different thresholds for what they can take.
yeah.
And it is different when it happens to you versus when you are just watching it happen to someone else
Yeah.
as a third party just saying, take a deep breath, it doesn't matter. You know, because that's what happens.
guess what? At the end of the day-
when a girl is freaking out, the thing you're supposed to say is just calm down. That always helps
works?
the situation.
Okay.
Yes, that works. That's something I learned.
And no matter what, I'm pretty sure you'll still be married at the end of the day, and that's.
Well,
what
I
it's all
won't, but they will. Yes.
So piggybacking off of Dr. Linton's travel one, my second one is we went on vacation to Colorado, also among mountains.
Great. Thanks for that.
Coincidentally.
about. If you want to see pictures later of mountains, Ben, I have.
Oh, thanks. I've seen pictures before.
Now, I've been to Colorado before, but I think this one hit just a little bit differently. This is the first time traveling out to Colorado with my own family and children. I've been out there being married, but this was just our first big immediate family vacation. And so being able to set our own schedule and agenda, having that freedom was great. We also got to visit some extended family out there, which is always a blessing. But just things to look for. Mr. Linton talked about the sociological, I can't say that word. Sociological implications of being around different people. I'm going to point out just being in nature and beholding nature is something good to strive for. Yeah, good to experience. I was definitely on my phone less. I don't think when we were up, so we were in Denver for a bit and then up kind of in the mountains in a town called Leadville. And the internet was not great, which was kind of great for me, not being as connected as I could have otherwise been. And I was thinking, those times are drawing short with satellite, Starlink, and other satellite internet providers. Like the time of being able to go somewhere where you are physically unable to be as connected to the internet is waning.
People will just have to be more conscious about
They will
it.
have to more consciously disconnect themselves.
Maybe you just fall in a lake.
Yeah, just fall in a lake and ruin your phone. You could do that. It was
But
great.
I love the term that you use, behold nature, because I just imagine, behold, a chickadee! But it really is, like, when you take in nature as a whole, especially when you're near mountains, I'm sure, it is an experience.
Yeah. I asked my wife this question when we were out there. Would you rather retire to a place that had a great view of the mountains or retire to a place that had a great view of like Lake Michigan or another great body of water? And
A land ocean like that.
yeah. And because I've always fantasized about retiring to like the west coast of Michigan and having a house that overlooked Lake Michigan. But I'm going to say the mountains are a great view. And just seeing the clouds coming off of them.
Well, if you go to like Superior, Duluth, then
you got a little bit of both.
you get a little bit of both, yeah. You
That'd be
got the
kinda nice.
cliffs and the...
It is cold up there, though.
It is cold up there.
I don't know if I want to retire to Duluth, Minnesota.
To the loot.
When we were in Europe, our first night there, we were in Switzerland, and our hotel was in the Swiss Alps. It's like, I was terrified on the way up because we're on this coach bus going through hairpin turns up a mountain,
Switchbacks.
like switchbacks, and like there's just drops.
Yep.
And I had not learned to trust our bus driver yet, who is maybe the most amazing driver I've ever experienced in person. He could do things with a coach bus that I can't do with my Camry. But yeah, and then we wake up the next morning, and it's so peaceful, and there's a river that's flowing past our hotel, and there's just mountain peaks on all sides, and it was awesome.
I've always wanted to hike up to a place and find like a mountain lake and like camp. There's some places where you can just
Yep.
hike out and camp out there, and I've always wanted to do that. Just find a place where it seems like, wow, no one's ever seen this before.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure there's a lot of psychological explanation for why it is good to be in nature, and I know there have been many studies. But the one thing I want, like that kind of impressed upon me is I'm thinking about myself less when I'm out here. And I'm trying to think, how can I do that more just when it's during the school year and I'm just going back and forth between school and home and church and groceries, just to take in the nature that is around us that we often take for granted. Because we live in a great natural setting here in southwest Wisconsin. There is stuff to behold here. It's just we don't see it. We don't notice it as often because we take it for granted.
Yeah. Behold, goldenrod.
I have a rant connected with this as well.
Oh, might as well. It's about time to get that in, isn't it?
Yeah. So we get in to Denver International Airport at I think like 9:30 local time, which is like 10:30 our time. So like mentally we're 10 or 10:30, which is way past all of our normal bedtimes, even during the summer. And we get to, and Denver International Airport is a lot of, all right, you get from the terminal, all right, you got to take a train. Wait for the train. Get to the train to the next place. All right, cool. Now you're at the main terminal. Now you got to wait for a bus. And then and this isn't even the rant, we're just getting to the rant. So then you got to,
We're just warming up here,
we're just
folks.
warming up. So then you take a train, wait, bus, wait, then get in line for your rental car. Get the rental car. And it's a GMC Terrain, 2024 GMC Terrain. And I'm just familiarizing myself with the controls. And I wonder, I noticed.
Controls.
What?
Don't worry about it.
And I'm trying to figure out how to put it into gear, into drive. There is no shift.
There's no prindle, as the cool kids call it.
Brindle?
Yeah.
There's no brindle or gear shift by the steering wheel. I check down center console, nothing there like that. I'm thinking, I wonder, is there a rotary dial? I do see a rotary dial, but it's for controlling like off-road stuff. Okay, so that's not for that. And I look around more. Below the entertainment and the climate control, there is buttons. P, R, N, D, and L. So it's now buttons, and actually not just buttons for park and neutral and low, but they are pull toggles, like you put your finger in behind them for reverse and drive. And it's way down here. Like, so if my field of vision is up here, and this only makes sense if you're watching this, then you have to direct your vision all the way down here.
He lowered his hand about 2 feet from his eyesight.
60 degrees
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
off of the normal.
60 degrees off your field of vision of the road to change gears. And I was just thinking, and this actually ties into my last lesson for today, like, why did they design it that way? There's no mapping. There's nothing to draw your eye, because you're going to have to interact with this every day. You have to know where this is to drive the vehicle. There's nothing to draw your eye to these buttons. It's not like it's mapped out like reverse is lower or higher. It's just left to right. It's made to look nice, but it's hidden.
Yeah.
And once you know it's there, it's great. And it works fine. But just coming in blind and not knowing where it is, it was ever so frustrating. The end.
I'll give that a B.
I agree. Solid B to start the year.
Cool. 90%.
We're not failing yet.
Room for improvement.
Mr. Linton, you're up next.
You're
Okay,
up.
great, my turn. You guys ever see the movie What About Bob?
Nope.
No.
What about Bob?
I did not watch it this summer, but I was reminded of that movie because one of the key themes of that is baby steps.
Baby steps, untie your knots.
Ben has obviously seen the movie.
I love this movie. I could quote
I'm
it
sailing.
all day.
I'm a sailor.
I sail.
Yeah, it's it.
Way
Bill
far
Murray.
away from the land and everything. Ahoy.
Bill Murray, great.
Oh, sure.
As
Okay.
he gets better, his psychiatrist goes insane.
Yeah. But his psychiatrist is giving him the advice at the very beginning of the movie. As you face life's challenges, it's baby steps. You don't have to think about how do I get from here to my car. You think, how do I leave this room? And then once I left this room, how do I get down the hallway? And you take it one step at a time. Some might say, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. And I need to approach life like that more often. You know, any task can feel insurmountable when you just look at the end. I had endings. You know, I finished up a doctoral program. It was a lot, but if you take it one bite at a time, if you do the baby steps, eventually you get there. And so many of life's goals can feel overwhelming if you just look at that end goal instead of breaking it down into its parts and then taking those parts one step at a time, one day at a time. But if you don't start stepping, you're never going to get there. And so I'm thinking about life goals and what are the steps to get there. And regardless of how long it might take to get to that end goal, as long as you're taking steps, that's good.
Good advice for students as well. They're going to see a lot of projects and wonder, how am I going to get this done? Just one little thing at a time. It's also nice when teachers scaffold things for students.
Yeah. So to help them with
to help them with that. One of the summer classes that I took was the big thing was writing a research proposal, and the weekly assignments was just a section of the research proposal. And so by the time you're done with the class, you had the research proposal done, which was very, very manageable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's something I hope to apply to my teaching as well, because I think our students lack often the executive function necessary to even do that. And so, but how do you find this balance between helping them learn to do that and teaching them to do it on their own? You know, where's that line for us as teachers where we don't want to be like chewing their food for them.
Yeah.
But we do want them to learn how to do it.
Do the work.
Yeah.
I've heard the analogy of it's like learning is like crossing a river, and what you want to get to is the other side. And you can just charge right through the river and get across. Maybe you'll have to swim against the current a little bit, but it is nice to have someone to tell you, hey, there's a rock there. You can step there and get across the river faster. There are many ways to approach a problem, and you can do it. Kind of along that vein, but not really.
Good transition. I like
Oh,
that.
thank you. I've always been excellent at transitions. Life plans and bucket lists is something that I was confronted with this summer, because I had a lot of goals. I felt like I didn't have a lot of goals. That's the problem. I wanted to see mountains because I was going to be close to them in Nashville. I wanted to finish writing my language. I wanted to program a small game, which I haven't completed a small game since outside of a programming competition in years because of teaching, or at least I blame it on the teaching. I wanted to finish writing the play with you, and I wanted to do a couple other things. You wanna guess how many of those things I did?
I know which ones you didn't. I know some of them that you didn't, because we did not finish that play.
I finished none of them. Summer burnout is real, especially as a teacher, where you have no reason to go to bed and no reason to wake up, and like the motivation is very hard. And with things like the mountains, it was really frustrating because I had this whole plan to go see them, and then life happens. And with things like life goals and bucket lists, life will get in the way. So I guess the thing I learned is I gotta keep on trying, keep on finding opportunities to try to get done the things that I need to get done or the things that I want to get done. Because if I don't start baby stepping, it's never going to happen. And if I'm like, oh, I want to see mountains, and then it doesn't happen, I'm like, well, guess that's not happening. Then yeah, it won't happen. So just continuing to to try and force those things to happen. I will see mountains someday.
You can forgive yourself for not doing something in the past, and you can always do it in the future. You've got how much of your life ahead of you?
Yes. At least a day.
At least today.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna jump ahead in the order here because I think this ties to what you just said. So we've been spending time just yesterday where we're in faculty meetings, and we've been talking about this like working genius thing, like how do we work? What are our working strengths? And Mr. Walter and I are almost identical in that we're both
apparently.
We're both we people. You can look that up, whatever. But my last one, my weakest frustration thing is traction, which is finishing things.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect. Do you also have that as a?
I think traction's in the middle for me.
Oh, in the middle, nice. It's last for me. So I if I don't have deadlines for things, they just will not get done.
That is true. That is very similar to me. The difference is during the COVID era, when I got stuck at a friend's house for a couple months, I started giving myself the goal, because I didn't have anything to do, of programming a game a week or a game every 2 weeks or whatever it was. And I did it. And I realized that as long as I kept finishing things, I never hit burnout, which is a really weird realization, because for a lot of people I know, it is the finishing things that causes the burnout.
Interesting.
Or as soon as they finish it, they're like, okay, I need a break for a while. But no, as soon as I finished it, that gave me the kick I needed to make the next one.
No, I think I would agree that's the same for me. But what you kind of did is you gave yourself artificial deadlines.
Yes.
And that's the only
what
way,
it took.
Yeah, that's the only way it works for me too, is I have to give myself artificial deadlines or give myself tiny rewards.
Yeah.
Treat yourself.
Yeah. Treat yourself.
If I get this done, then I can do this.
I think part of it, because the artificial deadlines sometimes work, I think part of it is they can't be too far away. Because this summer, I had all of the stuff I wanted to do by now, which was a couple months away. And so my brain was, plenty of time. And then none of it got done. The burnout hit, and I couldn't find the motivation anymore.
We're almost halfway done with our play.
Almost halfway done.
With the first draft, to be clear, because it's going to need some revisions.
Yeah. Everything
It's
he
probably
wrote is garbage.
Yeah, it's a steaming pile.
I look forward to the finished product with that.
Well, I hope so. But anyway, my thing actually is tied to that is what I'm trying to do is focus on strengths instead of weaknesses. So if I have strengths, I know that I have strengths, and I know other people have strengths. And the temptation is to think about the frustrations that we have with other people because they don't have the strengths that we want them to. But maybe we should just appreciate them for the strengths that they do have. Which, actually, Derek, you have traction?
Nope.
No.
That's in the. I think that's in the middle. Is that finishing stuff?
Yeah, we probably need to get somebody connected to this podcast that has traction.
Pastor Margraf also does not have that, does he?
I don't know. But we probably could use a traction person to make us do things.
Because right now I'm the traction.
And he he's competent at traction.
I wouldn't say excelling. I would say competent.
Yeah.
Just
I do
surviving
it because
with
I have to.
I'm good at the wondering and inventing, and then I'm okay at getting stuff done. It's the mid-level stuff, like all the detail-oriented stuff, and the discerning part, which is nope. Apparently, according to this one survey I took a couple months ago. my last one then?
Yeah.
All right, last round here. My last lesson comes from a book that I read. Actually, I read maybe like 75% of it. 80% of it. Design of Everyday Things by Don Norman. I came across it on X, Twitter.
Yes, we're out of practice. Out of practice.
Been a while. He was waiting
guard.
for it.
Shake off. I set it up for you. Okay.
It was T-ball and we missed it.
Anyway, I came across it on that platform, and I thought I'd read it as I thought it might be helpful for like designing things or like problem solving things that happen in a school setting. And one interesting thing that I came across, one of his main lessons was that oftentimes when a device or a man-made thing breaks or does not operate like it should, we blame ourselves for it malfunctioning.
Like if it's a lemon juicer.
If it's a lemon juicer.
Yeah.
Or for close to home for teachers, the copy machine. Like if we just wouldn't have run those copies with the stapler and the hole punch, maybe it would still be functioning. Whereas we all know that it should just be able to function like that. That's what it's designed for. But we so often blame ourselves for things that don't work.
Or a car not being able to go into drive.
Yeah, that was one thing. Like, so hopefully we all have stoves at home, and if you've got
If you
knobs,
could listen to a podcast and you don't have a stove, maybe invest.
if you're just using that hot plate still, maybe you get a stove. Anyway, you know how we've got knobs on the front for either gas or burners, or for electric burners, and it's a row of 4. But you need some type of symbol to tell you this is the back one, this is the front one, from going from left to right. Or when you're at a school or other industrial setting, how many sets of rows of light switches do we have? And unless you know
Which switch
does which,
bank?
there's nothing on them to tell you what turns on what. And like the lack of mapping and the lack of thought for some of these design things really leaves a lot of humans in the lurch for figuring this stuff out, and it gives us a lot of consternation and a lot of it could be all of that could be resolved if the designers or the planners would have put in that little extra time and effort to map things out and design things with the end user in mind.
My favorite instance of that, of it being done well in a way that made me scratch my head for a little bit, and then I realized, was it was a button on an old analog machine. I don't remember what it was for. But it's one of those buttons, you push it all the way in and it pops halfway back out, and then it's on. You push it in and it comes all the way out, then it's off.
I love those.
So they wrote the words, "not on." And I thought, why, like, on, off? Why write not on? Well, because when you push it in and it comes halfway back out, you only see the word on. And then when you push it in and it comes all the way out, now you can see not on. And it's such a simple little thing that gave me joy when I figured it out.
The knot was on the button, and it was only seen
and
when
it was on the half of the button that would be in the machine if it was on.
See, we've lost all that with everything being a screen these days.
Yeah.
All of those fun little interactions with physical buttons.
And another thing to your frustration of blame them, don't necessarily blame yourself, is people are being paid at these tech companies to design the UI, and the UI is already designed. So what do? They redesign the whole UI.
To substantiate their job.
Yes, because they're just trying to please their boss. And their boss is trying to please their boss. And you redesign the UI, and then everyone who uses it complains that the UI changed. And it happens every update of Adobe, Photoshop, and everything.
Or it's designed for the immediate flash and wow moment of initially seeing it, and not for the protracted use over time.
Yes.
And then it's overly complicated, and if it breaks, is super expensive to fix.
Right.
Yep.
That button was probably super easy to change and replace if it stopped working.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
The gear shift thing in that car you rented, if that stopped working,
I'm sure it was. I didn't hear. There's like no mechanical linkage. It's all just it's wires and buttons connecting to a computer to switch it over. Relays.
So if you boot up Windows 11 for the first time and you're unhappy, we understand.
Yeah. Is that the third?
I like Windows 11.
Is that like
I
the
think
second or
it's
third
actually
time we've
really
dunked
good.
on Windows 11?
I mean, because it keeps coming up. Someone sent in a question about it.
Yeah.
I think Windows 11 is great. I
works.
don't have a problem with
Please
it.
direct
But
all of your hate
Hate
messages
towards Windows 11.
to Mr. Alton.
And on that topic, because I'm glad we have great segues here, I learned that if you want to be more productive, or if I wanted to pull myself out of that burnout that I was having in the summer of not having to go to sleep, not having to wake up, but still wanting to get things done, but not having the motivation to get things done, just focus on the little things. And if you're having problems with a car or the UI, or you just need to take a break and go to nature, focus on the little things, because the little things are what recharge you. It's not the big picture things usually that you get satisfaction out of. The little things are the baby steps that get you to the finish line. And it's the things that make you happy throughout the day, that make what you're doing worth doing in the first place. So if you're getting overwhelmed by a task, focus on why you're doing that task in the first place. And maybe that'll get you through.
That kind of felt like closing thoughts.
Yeah, almost did.
Darn. Well, now it's time for closier thoughts with Du Bois.
That's why you tune in for this. For that stuff.
Yeah, because it's bussin' over here. I think Margraf threatened to never listen again if I said it again.
He did.
Maybe we should bleep that.
No. No, he
No.
peeked in the window earlier. And he was very excited that we were recording, so I think he'll still listen.
Okay. Never stop learning, people. Even in the summer, you're always learning, always improving. We're all humans, right? Probably. If there are any aliens listening, welcome to the podcast.
Replicants?
If there's any replicants listening, welcome to humanity. We're always learning. So try and find the little things in life to learn from. And you just improve. Never give up improving on yourself. Wow, that sounds corny. I was trying not to sound that corny.
Okay. Sometimes Nike is right. Just do it.
You know where they got that from?
I don't recall. No.
It was a death row serial killer.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was his last words. Just
Seriously?
do it already. And they said, that's a good slogan. We'll take it.
Interesting. Okay, maybe.
Listen to serial killers sometimes, people. That's our closing thought.
Trying to tie a couple things together. The burnout and vacations, little things step by step. I think all of that kind of melds together with trying to do things little by little and then add in changes. A lot of burnout happens because you're trying to do the same thing every day. And while routine is good, sometimes a break in routine is better than a rest. And sometimes that re-energizes you. Again, depending on your disposition, your how extrinsic extroverted you are versus introverted you are. But I think a lot of that ties together, and to be whole in your soul, in your mind, to be at one with God, to be knowing what your purpose is, taking those pauses, doing those changes, taking those breaths, beholding things around you.
Behold, a chickadee.
I think that can do a lot for you if you are struggling in some way, shape, or form. Dr. Linton.
You both said things that I was kind of thinking.
Very
already.
closey things.
Very closiest. So I will have the closiest thoughts of all.
Yes,
We live in a culture
we do.
that's very nostalgic, right? Like, wants to relive the past. We get reboots of movies, series that should never have been made in the first place. Snow White.
I think they're remaking Barbarella.
Did not expect you to say that. But I think that our goal in life, when you look back at high school you're probably kind of embarrassed of who you were back then. Like, oh man, I was a nincompoop.
A dingus.
I think that should be always your goal. That when you look back at yourself in the past, no matter what age you were, that it was not like, those were the days. I don't think we should be singing. I think we should be like, man, look how far I've come.
Yeah, Viktor Frankl wrote about that when people would think back like to their past years and think, oh, I had it so good back then. You can look and see, look at all the wisdom I've gained, look at all the experience I've gained right now, and look what I can accomplish now with a lot less effort, a lot more discernment than I could in my youth or in my past.
Yeah.
And specifically from the lens of not, wow, look what a garbage person I was, but look how far I've come.
Yeah. And so I think that's my challenge to you and my homework to you also is continue to push yourself. What's the next version of you? What's the Windows 11 of you
Yeah.
gonna be? What's the next iteration improvement that you're gonna make that will allow you to look back and say, look how far I've come. Each phase of life should be enjoyed, should be celebrated, and there's going to be good things. But instead of wishing we could go back to a previous version of ourselves, let's challenge ourselves to make the next version of ourselves even better than the one we have now.
Well, that was almost a cohesive episode. Class dismissed.